Hey guys, in this video we'll talk about a great Z-code tool called the MLB Pitcher Strength Oscillator. This is a very handy tool that'll help you compare pitchers in MLB baseball. Now pitchers are one of the most important players in baseball, and usually by having a good pitcher it most likely means that your team is going to win the game. That's why it's very important to understand how your pitcher is performing, if he is surging or slumping, and if he is profitable or not. We believe that profitability of the pitcher is the most important parameter because he can win all those games, but eventually it all comes down to how much money he's going to make for us as sports investors. So instead of counting his wins or losses, we will count how much money he's going to make for us by placing a flat bet of $100 for each game in which this pitcher starts. So we only count the games of our teams which have this pitcher starting. And then we build a chart based on this information. So this is an example of a game between the Florida Marlins, which is also referred to as the Miami Marlins lately, and the New York Mets. The pitchers are Josh Johnson and R.A. Dickey. Now the red line is for R.A. Dickey and Josh Johnson is the blue one. You can see that both pitchers are relatively stable. However, Josh Johnson is always around break even. You can see that his graph is hanging around the zero line all the time. This doesn't mean that he's a loser, but it does mean that he always gets poor odds from the bookies because the public thinks he is an ace and he should win all the games. But in reality, he's not winning much. He's at around 50% win rate, and that's why he's not profitable. On the other hand, you can see that R.A. Dickey's red line is extremely profitable, and he made nearly $1,000 of profit for the bettors. However, as the chart shows you that recently he's slumping a bit. He's alternating between wins and losses, and probably he's due for a win here. While Josh Johnson's probably due for a loss because he's reaching his resistance line. If you draw a line here, it's possible that he could bounce back down because he's reached a plateau here. Now let's scroll down, and here on the left you can see Josh Johnson is only around break even. He made only $100 after so many games. And R.A. Dickey made over $1,000. However, he hasn't been very sharp lately. The difference is very big, and this tells us that probably R.A. Dickey should win this game and Josh Johnson should lose. And below, you can also see the previous games with these pitchers. So this is very helpful. Now let's check another pair of teams. This is a game between New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. Hiroki Kuroda, the Japanese pitcher for the Yankees, and Doug Fister is pitching for the Tigers. The blue line is for Kuroda and the red is Doug Fister. So here you can see that Kuroda started these games pretty badly. He was losing quite a few of these games, and you can see here that he lost about $300 for the bettors, and even $400 here. I need to add that both these charts are only for this season. So he lost a handful of games. However, after June 2nd, he started improving. And you can see he was improving pretty well and got into the break-even range. However, during the last few games, he lost again. On the other hand, you can see that Doug Fister started this season as a big loser. He lost $600. However, the last few games, he's been pretty stable. And just look in the chart. You can believe that Doug Fister might win this one, or at least be competitive to Hiroki Kuroda. Let's check another game. Tampa Bay versus Toronto Blue Jays. In here, we can see the blue one is Hernando Alvarez. Now, Hernando is pretty unstable. He lost more than $800, but recently he's become a little better and stable. From the graph, it's clear his pattern is 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins again, and you might expect him to lose again here. Just by looking at this pattern, His opponent, Matt Moore, is around break-even, and he's always hanging around this line. He won 2 games, but it's not clear if he'll win another one or not. So there's no clear sign in this game. Here's another game between San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals. And we have Adam Wainwright, who used to be an ace, but since April, he's not producing any profits. He's only losing money, and the odds he gets are very low. So even if he wins the games, though he's not winning much, you see his winning rate is less than 50%. Obviously, you can't win any money that way. If you bet on him, you'll only lose money all the time. Now, his opponent is Madison Bumgarner. You can see that he's also not very profitable, only $200 in profit, because he's also an ace and also gets very poor bookie odds. And he's not winning enough games to cover those odds. So probably, no matter who wins this game, you won't make much money from it. That's why it's very important to know how profitable the pitchers are. Now here you can see another game with 2 losers. Both guys are real money losers. Both lose nearly $700, which means both these pitchers are extremely unstable. No matter which pitcher you bet on, you'll most probably lose your money, and they cannot be trusted. This is a good example of how pitchers should be avoided in such games. Now, in another game with Boston Red Sox versus Cleveland Indians, we have Felix Doubront from Red Sox, and you can see he's very profitable and stable. He's coming in after a loss, but he's never had more than 2 losses in a row. So you can predict that he's going to win this one, because there's a pretty high confidence in his winning ability. His opponent, Ubaldo Jimenez, started the season pretty good, but then he started his slump as well, and it's quite likely that he'll continue his downward trend. However, you may also notice that he usually doesn't lose more than 2 games in a row, so probably he could bounce back here later. But if you have to bet, I would rather take Felix to win this game. So you see, it's very easy and profitable to compare pitchers, and just by comparing them, you can make a pretty accurate estimation of how your game is going to end. So this is a very helpful tool that will assist you to win with our Z-code system, and I hope you'll enjoy using it as much as we do. Thank you for watching this video, and let's win together as you continue with us at Z-code, hopefully for years to come, and have a lot of successful seasons using our Z-code tools and our Z-code VIP club. Bye for now.